Let's try instead Zach from St. Louis. I feel like it's been a while since we've heard from anybody from St. Louis. Zach from St. Louis, you're on. What's going on today?
Hey David, thanks for picking on me. Appreciate everything you do, by the way.
Thank you.
In regards to COVID, this is a conversation I've been having frequently with family and friends. Taking it back home from Afghanistan for a minute, is how do we come back from this edge we're on? There's a set of people who, and I've kind of looked at the anti-mask, anti-vaccine people as two camps.
Okay.
The people who are going out of their way to do everything possible to move the goalposts and they are never going to do this. And then there's skeptics. And I think with all the FDA approval and Moderna's on the horizon for that as well, I think that's going to help a lot of the skeptics. But the people who are anti, like, they seem like they'd rather die than get this shot. They put things they don't even understand what it is in their body than
Yeah.
get this shot. And I'm completely just gobsmacked with my family and friends as to how we unprogram. I don't think these people can be deprogrammed. It's a cult, but I don't think they can be deprogrammed, and I just don't know how to bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I agree with you. I wish it were different, but I did a segment earlier this week called "Sorry, guys, the Trumpists are too far gone." I do believe that there were some people who, in good faith, were saying, "If and when this gets full approval, I'll go and get the vaccine." To take the approval issue for a second, I think there were people who, in good faith, were saying that, and some of them are going to go now and get vaccinated because it was fully approved. There are others who are just always looking for whatever just out of reach requirement they can put in place to avoid getting vaccinated. I don't think there's any bringing them back. And unfortunately, it is going to lead to death. It's not going to be just their death. It's going to lead to death among some people who do get vaccinated, but they get infected by these people anyway because the vaccines aren't 100% effective. I want to be convinced by someone in the audience that there actually is something that can be done to bring these people back. I don't really think there is. One thing that comes to mind is we can play really dumb, childish reverse psychology with them, right? Like hypothetically, if it came out that Biden was going to ban the vaccine, I think many of them would say, "Oh, I'm going to go and get it. Screw Biden." But I mean, you can't really run a country that way, you know? And it's only those types of ideas that I think would work to convince them, sadly.
Right, and I think and my biggest fear, and I'm not a pessimist, I'm just a realist, and I
Yeah,
think this is going to end in violence, unfortunately, because I don't think Biden's ever going to come out and politically suicide himself and wide mandate, federal mandate on the vaccine. I think it'll
I
start
agree.
as we're already seeing, like LSU is requiring it, CVS Corporation is requiring it, et cetera, et cetera. You'll start to see more and more of these mandates at the business and corporate level to kind of squeeze people more.
Right.
Um, I'm afraid that once we squeeze, you back an injured animal into a corner, they're going to lash out. And I feel like it's only going to end in violence because they aren't able to be brought back from that edge.
I worry that you're right. I hope that you're wrong, but I worry that you're right. And right now, there's nobody who's talking me out of this belief. I increasingly am thinking that your analysis is spot on. Let's hope that we're both wrong, you know?
Yeah, no kidding. Well,
Yeah.
that'll do it for me. Thank you again for having me on.
All right, appreciate it. Perfect audio, perfect question. Very much good to hear from you. Let's go next to Stephanie in Dallas. We're going to try again in Texas. Stephanie in Dallas, you are next up. What's on your mind?
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, Stephanie.
Fantastic. I'm glad you guys had a wonderful, looks like you had a great trip in Spain, correct?
Yes,
Spain?
thank you.
Yes, wonderful. And I'm glad you guys are healthy. That's great news. And actually, I called in a couple months ago, back when our governor lifted the mask mandate.
Yes.
And here we are in August, and things are looking kind of grim, right?
Yes, they are.
And I actually agree with the last caller. I had some concerns, like they did too, about the I don't know. I kind of feel like there's a reckoning coming our way, unfortunately. And I just have a lot of thoughts I'm trying to process, as I'm sure a lot of people are right now. And one of the things I just wanted to share with you is that we went to, over the summer, my family and I took a little road trip from Texas up through Tennessee and Columbus. And we went up to upstate and then came back down through Civil War sites. That was our trip. It was a lot of
Hmm.
fun. But the one thing I really responded to on our trip was that uh, just going through all the Civil War sites, especially, I think my favorite was, what is that? Harper's Ferry. And that's kind of where everything kind of started. And we were listening to podcasts about it on the way up there, and it's just fascinating. But the thing I realized, and the thing that made me so kind of depressed, is that over 200 years we've been doing what we're doing, and not a lot has changed, unfortunately. I think that there's been little, rays of hope here and there, but I just feel like it's been, um, it's just this pattern. It's been going on and on about people, the wealthy elite, kind of controlling the majority of the people, and it was made really evident in the history I was kind of gleaning from everything, and
Oh, I
just,
see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
listen,
yeah,
I think you're right about that kind of superstructure, but I think also a lot has changed.
yeah. Well, I think
When you
some
look
has,
at,
but go ahead. I'm sorry.
everything from the civil rights movement to
Mm-hmm.
technological advancements to the standard of living overall.
Oh,
I mean,
for
obviously,
sure,
we want
for
to be
sure.
realistic and point to things
Hmm.
that have improved and things that haven't, but the superstructure you're pointing out certainly still exists.
Right, and the thing that I mean, it's the thing that to me is so disappointing is that since I'm in the Southwest, and I fortunately where I live pretty diverse, the my community, and where I go and when I go out and run my errands during the day, I see a lot of people still wearing masks, so that's
Hmm.
helpful. And my family are all vaccinated, so that's we're trying to do our part. But I still go out and drive around. I still see people with Confederate flag stickers on their trucks, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I would hope that I don't know, and that's the thing I'm kind of like not just with the COVID, argument, the division that people have. I'm just worried that like just all the divisiveness. It's like it's starting to become a little too. People are getting a little too comfortable, being upfront about their 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 racism and everything. And I'm just hoping that
And the other
someday.
thing is, I think people are getting way too comfortable with the fact that they think that just disagreeing with all empirical
Hmm.
evidence and science
Hmm.
is just valid opinion, and it's just as valid as disagreeing about a favorite color. That's a real problem.
Right.
That's an empirical crisis, I would say.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And but the other thing from coming from all of this is that I think I'm raising an activist. My daughter is becoming very radical, which is a good thing. I'm hoping that she's going to be, because it's up to us as parents to kind of point our kids in the direction that we want them to go. And she's like saying she's going to start like a little group at school called the Diversity Club, and I'm hoping that like through like little trickle down things like that she'll hopefully be able to influence other people. I don't know. I don't know if she's inviting herself some more criticism or what, but
Probably both.
yeah.
Probably both. Thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate hearing from you again.
Thanks. You take care.
All right, there's Stephanie in Dallas. Let's take a quick break. I am going to get back to calls right after this short break. So if you'd still like to chat, don't hang up. One of our sponsors is SteadyMD Primary Care, the easier and more affordable way to do primary care. And they're giving you 50% off because you are in my audience. You just answer a few questions. SteadyMD will match you with a licensed primary care physician that's tailored to your needs. You'll have a 1-hour virtual appointment and start a meaningful relationship with your new doctor. And from then on, your doctor will be available to you by text, phone, and video chat. It's not some random doctor on call. Your SteadyMD doctor has a limited number of patients. You get the attention you deserve, and they can help you with anything your primary care doc normally would. It's very cool how it works. You don't need insurance. It's just $99 a month, no other fees or copays for visits. Take the free quiz and see which doctor is a perfect fit for you. You'll get 50% off your first month when you go to steadymd.com/Pacman. No risk, no long-term commitment. The link is right underneath the video.